This week at Bungie, we're a few days away from the official start of the Bungie 30th anniversary event. This is going to be a major event and the last bit of major content dropped in Destiny 2 Beyond Light before the Witch Queen goes live. And in this week's issue of the Bungie Weekly Blog, This Week at Bungie for the week of December 2nd, 2021, we're going to be talking that, some minor patch notes, some major quality of life upgrades, and even more. Let's go ahead and dive on into the crazy amount of news we have ahead of Tuesday's big patch. Starting off with Bungie's annual Game to Give charity event. Earlier Thursday morning, Bungie's third annual Game to Give charity event kicked off. Between December 2nd and the 15th, Bungie is inviting the entire community to join in celebrating what they could accomplish together through games and generosity. This year, they're going to be running a stream marathon and a few awesome charity rewards for you to receive as a thank you for your donations. These rewards are going to include the High Five Hard Exotic multiplayer emote and the Altrux Pure MK1 exotic ship. Bungie's also planning a specific Bungie block to end the livestream marathon, so make sure you stay tuned for even more awesome announcements. As always, this community blows it out of the water whenever it comes to any sort of charity event, and I suspect this one will be no different. Moving on from there, the next thing we have to talk about is the return of the Freelance playlist in Trials Labs. That's right, this week the Freelance playlist is coming back. Just like before, it'll be sitting in a separate node where everyone playing queues by themselves. The mode's perfect if you don't have a regular team, but may even be a space for you to find other players to party up with for some flawless success in the team node. This week is also a labs where they will not require the Trials intro quest to launch into the nodes. The only requirements for playing this Trials node this weekend are owning Beyond Light and being at 1290 power level or higher. While Trials can be a bit competitive, they do hope that this variation will open up PvP to more players and introduce them to some sweet rewards, and fuel more desire to give the Crucible a try from time to time. Additionally, we're going to be having another Trials lab coming up really quickly. December 16th is going to be the last TWAB of the year, so Bungie went ahead and made an advance announcement. On December 31st through January 3rd, they will be running another Trials Labs Freelance. So if you'd like to ring in the new year alone, well, they've got the playlist just for you. Additionally, you can expect an additional Capture Zone and Freelance in early February before the Witch Queen launches. They'll also be looking at a map rotation in the Trials playlist over the next few months, starting with pulling lower performing maps from rotation. Stay tuned for future announcements. But after that, we start to learn about the event that's going to be going live on Tuesday, the 30th anniversary, as well as Moments of Triumph 2021. That's right, we're going to be ending the year with Moments of Triumph this time. So, between the dungeon running and your adventures in the new 6-man activity, Dares of Eternity, Bungie's going to have a collection of rewards for you to earn in-game, showing your dedication over the last year. Now, as usual, if you complete all of the required triumphs and collect all of the rewards tied to this year's Moments of Triumph, you will of course unlock the Moments of Triumph seal and title. Some of which we actually get to see right here in the TWAB. As usual, Moments of Triumph is going to come with an assortment of goodies and a ton of challenges for you to complete. And some of those rewards are of course going to be real-life rewards as well. So, if you're looking to show your Guardian prowess in the real world, they have a new round of Bungie rewards for you to unlock as well and purchase from the Bungie store if you so desire. We've got their yearly t-shirt offering, but also the Moments of Triumph seal pin for your jackets, pin boards, or whatever you want to stick it on. There's also one last Bungie reward that could be unlocked, taking the form of a coin you may remember from years past. And all of the Destiny vets will instantly recognize the strange coin there, a currency that's been lost to the far-flung edges of time. Either way, all of this is going to be going live next Tuesday, December 7th, alongside the 30th anniversary event, which of course is a major event that's going to serve as a celebration of the last 30 years of Bungie games. This event will be marked in Destiny by the inclusion of a brand new dungeon, a brand new 6-man activity, the return of the legendary Gjallarhorn exotic rocket launcher, and even more. All of which of course is set to go live next week. But that's not the only changes we've got to talk about this week. We've got some great armor mod updates to cover as well. Starting next week, you'll be able to swap out your armor mods instantaneously at any time with no glimmer or currency required. Bungie states that their goal here was to better enable build crafting on the fly, whether you be loading into a PvP match or prepping for a nightfall. They've also seized this opportunity to make free and reversible socket actions available to all third-party Destiny 2 apps starting on December 7th. So, in addition to being able to equip gear and transferring items to and from the vault, your favorite D2 apps will also be able to apply Armor 2.0 mods, weapon perks, shaders, ornaments, and ghost projections on your behalf. This is an amazing change. Really happy to see that they're basically divorcing the idea of spending Glimmer from putting on mods. With all the different builds we have available to us now, well, A, we really need a loadout function sometime in the future, but B, it gets really expensive changing out mods basically every time I want to play a different activity. Really happy to see this change. The next thing I would say is please do something about the Glimmer cost for resetting your artifact now. Hopefully that's in the next quality of life update. But making these changes is great, and I love that I'll be able to swap things on the fly from one of the many Destiny 2 apps out there. But speaking of some of those third-party apps, they're also being celebrated in this week's TWAB as well, in recognition of the services that they've offered to the Destiny 2 community. Bungie has granted a special in-game emblem to celebrate the developers of many of your favorite Destiny-based third-party apps out in the world. So if you happen to be running around in the game and you see this emblem, you'll know that it belongs to somebody who put some real time, sweat, and tears into creating worthwhile apps for the community. I know I couldn't survive without apps like Destiny Item Manager. I would have lost my mind ages ago. So if you see them out in the wild, make sure you show them some love. Alright, next up, we've got a couple of patch note previews for next week's update. There are a lot of changes discussed here, so if you want to see the full list, head to the TWAB. We'll have a link to it down in the description box below so you can read it in its entirety. We're going to highlight a few of the bigger ones here. First of which concerns the Blind Well. Dreaming City weapons now drop more frequently upon successful Blind Well completions. So, if you're looking to round out your Dreaming City weapon collection, they highly recommend giving the Blind Well a few runs. Great news there. Then, we're going to be getting some really interesting changes to exotic ornaments and the way you can preview and purchase them. Starting next Tuesday, we'll be adding a new avenue for players to discover and acquire exotic ornaments. While players may still hop into the Eververse to purchase exotic ornaments, they will also be visible and purchasable when inspecting a given exotic weapon or armor piece. As an example, Le Monarch will be receiving a sweet new ornament in the 30th anniversary release. When booting up Destiny 2, you can inspect your beautiful bow, tab down to the ornament section, and purchase the ornament straight from the weapon itself. For armor pieces, this can be done either by inspecting the armor itself or through the Guardian Appearance screen. Featured ornaments may still be purchased with silver. If the ornament, however, is available for Bright Dust on a given week, it will also be available for Bright Dust on the inspection screen, which I think makes for a fantastic quality of life change. This is kind of cutting out the middleman so you don't have to keep pulling up the Eververse page to see the specific ornaments that you want. Now, if you want the Austroraptor exotic ornament for the Hawkmoon, you can just pull up Hawkmoon. They show it right here, and then you can go and see that specific ornament on the weapon itself. Great change. After that, we had some major bug fixes to things like the Corrupted Strike. Basically, they fixed all of the major issues within that strike that make it such a pain to go through, including fixes for Sadia's shields that will regenerate faster whenever you're playing on Nightfalls. They made it so that like the section leading into the elevator isn't going to have all those taken enemies that can kind of end your Grandmaster run before it even begins. And even more. Again, there's a link to the full patch notes down in the description box below. But Dune Marchers are something that people have been calling for a nerf for quite a while. Well, with next week's patch, you're finally getting your Dune Marchers update as well. Once a player is hit by Dune Marcher's lightning chain, they cannot be hit again by Dune Marchers for 2 seconds. So basically, you kind of get an internal cooldown for taking damage from the Dune Marchers. Additionally, Dune Marcher's lightning now only chains on targets that are alive, so no more corpse chaining, which was a pretty funny but bad thing to happen in Crucible. Dune Marchers has been causing a bit of lightning-based chaos for a while now, so I'm really happy to see that they're making a change here that isn't, just carte blanche destroying the ability of the weapon. It's just making it so, okay, you got a little bit of a cooldown so you can't get chained by it multiple times, and it can't bounce off of dead bodies. I think that's more than fair. Next up, we've got a change for Icefall Mantle as well. Stasis Overshield can now be cancelled by pressing the class ability input once more. There we go. That's a quick look at some of the patch notes we've got there. Of course, the full patch notes will be dropping next Tuesday, and we'll be covering all the biggest stuff then. But as for right now, that's pretty much it for the biggest bits of news contained in this week's issue of the Bungie Weekly Blog, This Week at Bungie. We have got so much stuff to cover next week with the release of the 30th anniversary. The new quest is going to be going live, the new dungeon, we've got the new activity, Gjallarhorn, and Moments of Triumph. It's all going to be happening at once. It's certainly going to be keeping us busy until the Witch Queen goes live in February. But anyways, that's it for the news, and those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. Oh, and do make sure you're following Destiny the Game over on Twitter. They've been posting some pretty spicy screenshots of some of the stuff we're going to be getting into next week with the 30th anniversary, including this hot little piece right here, clearly showing off what looks to my eyes like the Ias Luna legendary hand cannon from Destiny 1, as well as the 1,000-yard stare Vanguard sniper. It makes the veteran in me real happy. But alright guys, that's it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. I really can't wait for next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm out for now. As always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.